Hello and welcome to A Closer Look. My name is Gail Tatum. With me today is Superintendent Dr. Edward Bose. Thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Gail.
It's nice to have a chance to talk, and I think it's nice for people in the community to have a chance to meet you and hear about some of your thoughts.
I agree.
Let's begin by the fact that you are someone who has been in education most if not all of your professional career. Is that right?
All of my professional career.
All of your career.
This is my 34th year as a public school educator.
34 years is a long time. And you began in the classroom.
I began as a new graduate of Lock Haven State Teachers College, now one of 14 of Pennsylvania's state universities.
Okay.
And my first teaching job was in Indiana, primarily because my wife was finishing her undergraduate work to become a teacher also in Illinois.
Okay.
And a school district in Indianapolis was the first one to offer us both a job. It could have been Maryland, New Jersey, or Pennsylvania, but it by accident became Indiana.
Huh, so that's why you...
That's how I started out as a teacher of English and history in a junior high school on the west side of Indianapolis.
So you began in Indianapolis, and then you left Indianapolis. You didn't spend all of your career there before you came to North Penn.
I left Indianapolis to do graduate work at Indiana University, after which I had to find a job again.
Yes, that happens.
And took a job in New Jersey as an assistant superintendent. After 3 years in that job, I became a superintendent for the first time in 1974.
Okay.
So I'm finishing 23 years as a school superintendent, now in the third month of my 24th year. And I've been a superintendent in New Jersey, Indiana, and now back in Pennsylvania.
So you've come back to your state of birth, which is Pennsylvania,
Yes,
is that right?
I have. And I asked my mother when I told her I was changing jobs, and my mother doesn't understand why I changed jobs.
Yeah.
She thinks, as most people her generation do, that you take a job in your hometown and you stay there until you die or retire, whichever comes first.
So you broke the mold there.
Well, I was a generation that had to leave our hometowns to get jobs. And develop our own careers. But I did say, Mom, what do you think about my coming back home to Pennsylvania after 32 years? And she said, it's not the same.
Is that what she said?
That's what she said.
I guess it isn't the same. I don't know.
It's not the same.
Now, your wife is a career teacher as well. I know Sharon.
Sharon has recently retired after having been a career teacher for 29 years and taking time out for my job changes, as well as to give birth to our only child and daughter, Jennifer. And so she's enjoying her first year of retirement, but she can't get away from school. She's volunteering right now in our Culp Elementary School as well as our Montgomery Elementary School. Her interest is still working with kids and helping teachers who have special projects for kids, especially matters related to computers.
We really value women like Sharon in our volunteer program because she's someone who really understands what's going on in the classroom. I mean, we value everyone who's willing to give us time, but she brings a particular talent and skill, which is very, very nice.
And she still drives a great deal of satisfaction from contact with young people.
I know that I think she was an elementary fourth grade teacher, is what I remember.
That's
correct. And was at the elementary level all her years, is that right?
Yeah. But she's taught fourth grade more than any other grade and enjoyed it, I think, best, as well as having taught fifth and sixth grade as well.
Well, we're glad she's enjoying being in the North Penn schools, and it's a way for her to get a sense of our school system, which I'm sure has many similarities to where she was, but also has its own sense of operation that's different. And that's nice for you to hear as well.
It is.
And your daughter is a grown woman now.
My daughter is a graduate student finishing a doctorate in clinical psychology. And she's a wife now in her third year of a marriage, so I've been the father of the bride. That was a hard role to play.
Was it a hard role? A little tug there, huh?
And now Jennifer is finishing all her coursework and will do a year's internship at Emory University in Atlanta. So she and her husband are preparing to make a move. Rodney, Jennifer's husband, is an educational technology specialist and will be looking for a job in the school district in the Atlanta area.
Wonderful.
While Jennifer puts a year in the internship to finish her doctoral degree.
Wow, and is that expected to be a one-year commitment on her part?
That's a one-year experience. That's a requirement for the PhD, and after which she'll look for a real job.
A real job, and then the move will have more permanence to it, and where they settle will be a bigger decision than, say, a one-year transitional one, which is what she's in right now.
It'll be another decision in a young life and a young marriage and two budding careers.
Yeah, and this obviously is a young woman who's been encouraged to pursue education throughout her life and has done so with great success. So that clearly is a reflection of yours and Sharon's support for her as well.
Well, I speak obviously as a proud parent.
Sure, well,
this is a young woman who's always been a good student, never was reluctant to fulfill the obligations that we expect of serious students, and didn't interrupt her education since she started kindergarten. She has gone through public school K-12, a 4-year bachelor's degree, a 2-year master's degree, and now is finishing 3 years and a doctorate without interruption.
It's a lot of schooling.
It's a lot of schooling. I admire what she's done.
Yeah, that's a real commitment on her part. Well, you've been with us nearly 2 years.
Nearly 2 years.
So you really have your sea legs now.
I think I know my way around.
I
no longer take a map when I look for a school or a part of the community to make a visit.
Did you find, I'm sure when you came here, I mean, you've been a superintendent for a long time, and I think probably it would be my assumption that the job of superintendent in many places has similarities, and there's parts of it that have a comfort. But I'm sure you also had to reestablish your own self here and get a sense of how we did things and sort of refit things. Did you find that to be true?
I did, and your analysis is accurate. There are many similarities, and so there's a comfort zone in the job as I've experienced it in 3 different states. There are also enough of a new climate and a new culture that each state represents in the job of superintendent of schools that makes it a challenge and makes it a change that generally is healthy and sought, which was my case. I was ready for a change, and North Penn certainly offered that change, as well as challenges that I think I needed.
Yeah. Are you enjoying this community and getting a sense to know it?
I am enjoying this community.
Good.
I'm finding that I love the geography. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I love the outdoors, so I still enjoy getting to parts of the state where good fishing and mountain walks are invigorating and enjoyable, as well as the closeness to the shore and the big city offerings of Philadelphia is a combination both Sharon and I enjoy.
Yeah, it does offer a lot. I agree with that. Well, one of the things that happens, I think, from our perspective as people who welcomed you and were eager to help you succeed in your job is that a superintendent can bring many good things along with them. Him or her to a new site and help it to adopt those things if they choose. And that has happened here with a couple of cases. And I wanted to talk just about a couple of them. I wanted to talk about what we're calling CLEP here, which is a new program that will begin next year, and the board has just recently approved. And I'm wondering if you can explain that a little bit to people, because I think it's something that many people will have an interest in.
Thank you. I'd be glad to. I'm glad you asked me that question. CLEP is really a part of a larger endeavor that I think as people in North Penn learn and discover, especially students and families who want to plan for the post-high school life of young people, they will see this broad program, which I will simply say is an enrichment opportunity. That combines an opportunity to earn high school credit more rapidly through an enriched summer school, possibly to graduate from high school during what would be the mid-year of the senior year, tied in with and connected with the opportunity to gain early college admittance and enroll in college during what would be the high school senior second semester.
So they could be a freshman, say, in January or
exactly.
after the holiday season. They could begin their freshman year in college that early.
And what we know about high school dropouts, is an American tragedy, but it's a fact that we ought to recognize and use to our advantage, and that is the greatest number of young people drop out of college after the first semester of their freshman year. That's generally because they don't make good decisions about such a big transition in their lives.
It's a big adjustment. They maybe aren't prepared for that.
They're not
anticipating.
they're not prepared to be that independent, or they're not prepared to be that structured in their academic life. And so colleges will look for the opportunity to enroll young adults in the second semester of the freshman year, because the large
they
number
lose
who
so
drop
many
out.
students, and so they're willing to fill that freshman class.
So we want North Penn high school kids to have the opportunity to take advantage of that chance to be motivated and to use it as an incentive. So we will expand summer school to be more than a remedial summer school. We'll provide an enriched summer school, which means kids could plan to earn high school credit earlier than they would. And therefore they can take courses as electives in the summer or as required courses in order to take electives that are complementary to their goals. They would have the opportunity to graduate in January of their senior year, and they would have the opportunity to secure admission to the college of their choice because of the opportunity that second semester enrollment provides. Then this thing called CLEP that led to your original question is an acronym for College Level Examination Program. It's owned and created by the College Board, which is the owner of the SAT and the Advanced Placement Program, which is prevalent in North Penn High School already. And CLEP and AP are good complements for each other.
I see. And so the College Testing Bureau or College Testing does the same test and prepares that same test the way that they do and runs it.
CLEP is prepared by ETS, which also prepares the SAT. And so CLEP is an exam that a high school student could take, and if successfully passed, earn college credit that is accepted by over 2,000 colleges and universities across the country. That provides early college credit earning opportunity and the potential saving of the tuition that credit would cost if that student were enrolled in a college or university where it is applied. So there are two opportunities here for kids and parents who would plan for early admission for college credit earning while in high school, and also the opportunity to leave high school early to take advantage. So CLEP is something for which we might offer a summer course that prepares kids to take the exam. Or the exam might be taken by kids who believe they've had life experiences, or they've studied independently, or they've reached a level of achievement where they believe they might pass an exam without formal coursework. It will be an option they will have. We expect that we will be the first high school in the state of Pennsylvania to offer CLEP and become a CLEP center. Now we know there's one other high school interested in doing that same thing, but it hasn't started the program yet. We may be the first.
That's wonderful.
If we won't be the first, we'll be the second.
Wow, that's
and
really
the other
something.
high school is Altoona, for those who are wondering about it.
All right. So was this something that you had seen in Indiana that was part of what you did there, or
Actually,
not?
I'd never encountered CLEP before I came to North Penn.
But you'd read about it here.
I've learned about it. I've had several conversations now with CLEP officials, have received a lot of literature, and as we study the literature, we're becoming more convinced it could become a great opportunity for North Penn kids.
So parents and students who are interested should talk to guidance counselors and say, how can we take advantage of this? It's something that can happen, probably needs to happen as part of high school planning before the senior year. It needs to begin sophomore year, even earlier, and say this is a possibility if in fact this is something I want to do. So that's a nice opportunity. That's something new we're going to have for our students that we never had.
It's something I think that will give us all a great deal of pride and satisfaction as well.
That's nice. Okay, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. My name is Gail Tatum. This is A Closer Look. We'll be right back with Dr. Edward Bose. Thank you.
It's unfair to set easy goals for our kids because succeeding in the real world isn't easy. Help the effort to raise standards in America's public schools. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE.
Hello, welcome back to A Closer Look. With me is Dr. Edward Bose, Superintendent of the North Penn Schools. Dr. Bose, we have a nice event about to happen again for the second time, thanks to you, because a year ago you brought us a new program called the Seniors' Choice Awards, and we're about to have our second annual, which is only next Tuesday. And I thought maybe it would be nice to talk a little bit about how positive this is and what a great event this was last year. I know all of us who were part of it are really looking forward to it again.
Well, again, Gail, thank you for asking the right questions. Seniors' Choice is an opportunity for our school district to recognize 100 teachers who have made an impact on the lives of the seniors. And it's called Seniors' Choice because we ask the seniors to identify teachers who, in their own criteria and with their own recollection and reflections, believe these are the teachers that made a difference in my life. They either motivated me when I needed motivated, counseled me when I needed help and advice, brought me to recognize my potential, or otherwise did something that in the seniors' view contributed to their growth and development. And so we asked students to recognize 2 elementary teachers, 1 middle school teacher, and 1 high school teacher. And then with benefit of the total selection made by the entire senior class, we tally the results, and from those results we select those high school teachers, 25, middle school teachers, 25, and 50 elementary teachers who received the most recognition. And we give them a banquet, and we give them an award to commemorate and to be a piece of memorabilia about this recognition that the seniors and the school district have given them, that clearly signals that their accomplishment is a major accomplishment. And the people who made that judgment were kids, not other adults or school administrators, but kids who know firsthand which teachers made an impact in their lives.
It's very interesting when, because I've been involved with helping to set this up, as you know, we had the benefit to read some of the anonymous comments that students had written on the ballots about teachers, and it's very nice to see how heartfelt these are, and have students talk about teachers as friends, or teachers who really were there for them at hard times in their lives, and it's very compelling. And at the same time, we have also been able to get, as responses to the teachers as they tell us that they're coming, and yes, they're able to come to the banquet. We've also had some wonderful comments from teachers, and it's very clear that this has had just a real positive impact on the teachers, who so seldom, I think, get the feedback that they deserve for what they've done.
That's what teachers tell me. And this is not my second year's experience as I look back on this, because I did it elsewhere. It is, my recollection now is 14 or 15 years. And what teachers have told me over those years is that it is one of the most gratifying things that ever happens to them, because of the very reason that you just cited. Normally, teachers, unlike other professions, don't receive instant or even short-term recognition of what they've done. If you're a lawyer, you know whether you've won a case or not, or whether you've served your client. If you're a physician, you know whether the patient has been cured, or you've assisted somebody or eased their pain. If you're a builder, you see the result of your efforts. But teachers don't always see that. And when we can ask kids who reach the senior year of high school to think back on the teachers who have made an impact on them, and a first grade teacher gets selected 11 years later who doesn't even know what happened to the kids who were once in his or her class, that's quite an honor.
It
and
is.
Teachers tell us that.
Yeah.
And it's quite satisfying to be a part of that whole celebration.
Yeah, it really is a nice thing, and I'm looking forward to it. I know it'll be a nice evening again, so that's great. One of the other things that the district has been involved with, this isn't something that you necessarily brought us, but I know it's something that you feel strongly about, is the Merck partnership, the Merck Institute for Science Education, the MISE, we call it MISE, partnership, which we've had, has been something that I feel has had a real positive impact on science education. And I wondered if you would just want to make a comment about your view of this program.
I would reflect on what I think are two outstanding features of that project. The first one is the recognition by Merck, a large and very successful pharmaceutical operation worldwide,
Yes.
that it has an important role to play in public elementary and secondary education, in fostering and developing and enhancing the climate for teaching science, math, and technology in such a way that it changes in a positive way the behavior of teachers and contributes to their development as instructors and people who influence and mold the lives of young people. That's one reason I think it's such an important and major contribution by a large independent private enterprise.
Yes.
And the second one is because the influence it has directly on the boys and girls who benefit from the training that teachers get in learning how to be more of a scientist at a young age than learning about science. Kids actually become the doers of science as opposed to the readers about science.
That's right.
And I think that's a very important part of that project as well. And those are two major features that make me feel good as a superintendent of schools, that I know our students are involved and our teachers are benefiting from this opportunity.
Yes, I think when I've been in classrooms where I've had the opportunity to see some of the hands-on science work that the teachers are doing, and you can see the excitement in the faces of the students, and you also see that they're beginning to understand a scientific process and thought process a little bit. It's very nice to see, and you know this is going on in our classrooms, and I think it's just a very positive step for us to be taking.
It certainly is.
We're lucky that Merck has chosen us, and I know we're all grateful for having that partnership.
Very fortunate.
Yeah. Dr. Bose, you and I have talked before, I know, about the fact that families, of course, are critical to education, and parents are critical to education, to the success of students in the classroom. But recently, in recent years, actually in this year, there's been public national attention given to the fact that the early years of life are more critical than any of us even realized, or most of us had realized. And you and I had talked earlier about the fact that the message to parents that we need to get to parents is stronger than ever, that these are critical years. Let's talk a little bit about that in terms of your perceptions of that. And
it is a message for parents, and it's a message for all of us. Who ought to be concerned about the growth and development of children as a resource for a free and democratic society in a capitalistic environment that we enjoy and enriches the quality of our life as Americans. I became interested in brain development and the research about brain development in infants probably, as I would trace it, 10 to 12 years ago. Mainly because of the close proximity of my work in Indianapolis to Indiana University's School of Medicine, which is located in Indianapolis, though the main campus is in Bloomington. And a good friend of mine who's a dean at the School of Medicine began to share information with me about brain research. And what we know now, as you just mentioned, has been captured in our three major national weekly magazines. U.S. News and World Report, Time, and Newsweek have all reported within an amazing 3-month period of time recently on the amazing development of children from birth to 5 years old. And what we know is clearly parents are truly the first teachers.
They really are
We ought
critical.
to recognize that, and those of us in education need to find ways to enhance and build partnerships with parents, because parents are the first teachers. Parents do so much, both wittingly and unwittingly,
That's right.
to prepare children to be lifelong learners. Such simple things as reading to children, buying books for children,
I remember
providing experiences of an enriching nature for children are the major builders of language development, which is the key to all learning.
Yes, I remember, you're right. I remember a school board meeting in the past year, I believe, when Dr. Carol Tarozzi, who's our supervisor of reading, in discussing the need, just this issue, the need for parents to read to their children, said children come to us in kindergarten who have had 5 books read to them during those first 5 years of life and who have had 5,000 books read to them. And I remember that very, very clearly, that of course that's exactly what happens. Children come into the public schools with different kinds of preparation, and parents are the ones who have created, in many ways, the opportunities for those kids in reading especially.
That's right. That's right.
So they can really have a huge impact.
As a future grandparent,
Yes.
and as somebody who has certainly seen over the years the major influence and positive impact that parents can make, my best advice to anybody who's going to be a new parent or is a parent for the second or third time but wants to try to improve over the first time is read, read, read. Read to those infants. Engage those children in nurturing activities. Let me make a distinction. What medical research is telling us about the human brain development is this. While it's important to have good nutrition, we all recognize nutrition as
Sure.
balanced meals, the right foods, eat healthy.
Right.
What's even more important for infants is nurturing activities, and that means talking to babies, holding babies, bonding with babies, engaging babies in all the things we adults do with babies that make us look silly to other people, but are in activities that by their nature nurture brain development. The human brain develops up to 25% of its capacity through these stimulating activities that we would call nurturing.
Right. Some of us would just take them for granted and not even realize that's what we
Exactly.
were doing.
So it's better to have a healthy baby that we hold and talk to and begin to read with and play with and show objects to and say, this is a cow. The cow says moo.
Right.
As opposed to feeding them well and putting them in the crib
Right.
without our intention. Our attention will help their brain grow and develop.
So as a man who has been committed to education and the concerns of children, this is a lifelong commitment, clearly, and those of us who work in education share that. This is a message to parents before we even have these children so that we can have an immediate impact on them. The parents listening here today can really hopefully hear what you're saying and think about the fact that they can have a real impact on their child's future schooling before it even begins.
Well, the parents who do those things need to know and be appreciated for what they're doing.
Right.
And the parents who may not need the opportunity to learn that those are important activities during infancy
Right.
that affect the very ability to learn.
Right. It's important.
And all of us, as citizens occupying a country as we grow older, are going to have a more secure senior year life when we know that the children who are going to take our place are well prepared to do so.
Well, you're right. I agree with what you're saying. It's very, very exciting. I want to talk for a minute about North Penn, and I want to talk about the strengths of North Penn. North Penn is a wonderful school district. It provided for my children wonderful opportunities to learn and grow, and I know that's true for everybody. As superintendent, tell me what you would wish for North Penn. If you're looking ahead for the next few years, and it doesn't have to be a specific thing, but what kinds of things would you wish for North Penn if you were to wish for all of us here?
Well, I would wish that we recognize in serving the boys and girls that come to our schools from the communities that make up North Penn, we have an opportunity that can be greatly enhanced by our work as partners. This is something we do together.
Yes.
We should pull together and avoid pulling apart whenever possible, and recognize that the benefits are payoffs for all of us. I look at what North Penn High School students have achieved this academic year alone, and how proud we are of their accomplishments, and how those accomplishments, I believe, herald a great future for those young people.
Yes.
Look what North Penn High School students have done this year in terms of state championship recognition.
It's been a great spring.
In competition.
Yes,
It's been a great spring.
It has.
The North Penn kids have won the state academic decathlon championship, the state band championship, the boys swimming championship, water polo championship. The thespians have been recognized at the state level as outstanding, receiving many group and individual awards. And what we have, if you look at that in its totality, is a healthy balance of academics, arts, and athletics, the 3 A's, which make a high school a good high school and provide a variety of opportunities for kids from all interest levels with all kinds of talents. And a community should be enriched by that, and I believe North Penn community has been enriched.
Oh, I think so too.
We owe that to the teachers, administrators, but most importantly, the boys and girls who made that all come true.
It really is a partnership effort in the most real sense, because those remarkable young people have achieved wonderful things, but they've done it with support from so many people, from families who found the time to support them. They have their own inner spirit and drive, educators, school district that makes the opportunities available to them. It is something I hope the community feels proud of. They certainly should, because there's a shared ownership here in many ways. I'm sure there are many coaches and people in the community who remember these young people and help them along the way, as is true for so many of us. So it is a great partnership.
The key thing is that it is a community accomplishment, because the community created the environment and provided the resources to make that a possibility.
That's right.
And the kids have recognized that opportunity and seized the initiative with such resounding, well-balanced effort. Excuse me. We have to be proud of the fact that it's a balanced effort, and it comes from a large high school. I don't think a large high school necessarily is a deficit. In this case, we've demonstrated, I believe, the boys and girls at North Penn High School have demonstrated what great things can happen with so many young people involved. The total number of kids involved is an incredibly large number, which is another compliment both to them and to the adults who work at this school that make that possible.
Yes, that's true. Well, it's been a wonderful spring, and I expect that North Penn will have many other seasons of pride ahead of it, and we'll maybe share in some of that. I hope we do. I think that's very true. It reminds me of what Pogo, one of my favorite philosophers, said, that there's no bigger burden than great expectations. That's true. Well, with that, I think that's a very appropriate way to end our discussion here today, because I think it's been a positive talk. We've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about you a little bit. We've talked about some of the exciting partnerships at North Penn, some of our accomplishments, some of the good things that are coming, and maybe you and I can have a conversation again in the future and update the community and people who would be listening about some of other plans that are coming along.
We should, and after all, that's what we're all about. We're planning for the future.
That's right, and looking ahead.
That's the important thing.
Yep. Thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you, Gail.
Okay. My name is Gail Tatum. This has been A Closer Look. Thank you for joining me. With me today has been Dr. Edward Bowes, the superintendent of North Penn Schools. We'll see you next time.